There's no violation, so there's no violation.
Do you think that's a sign of you taking dark money?
Oh, no. I'm 100% legal tender. Thank you.
AOC denying the dark money allegations leveled against her in a federal elections complaint.
A conservative watchdog group is accusing the freshman congresswoman and her chief of staff of nearly $1 million off the books operation.
Ned Ryan is the founder and CEO of American Majority, which specializes in grassroots campaigning. Ned, you're the perfect person to ask about this. Explain exactly what is alleged here, and is this an easy mistake to make?
I got to tell you guys, this is either incredibly stupid and naive or it's deeply calculated, neither of which are good scenarios. You cannot have a candidate and her chief of staff controlling a PAC that is working on behalf of electing that candidate. I mean, this is campaign 101. You cannot coordinate at any level. And I think there's a couple different issues here at stake. If there was improper disclosure of independent expenditures, if there were illegal in-kind contributions to benefit the campaign, if there was potential coordination, those are all fines. They will definitely get fined on those things. I think the biggest question is, did AOC and her chief of staff willingly and knowingly try to hide their control of this PAC? And if they did so, that's when you start to talk about jail time.
Yeah, but even if it was a mistake, just for argument's sake, is that still okay?
No, it's not okay. They're going to get fined. I mean, if this is provable and it looks very suspicious, again, with these potential in-kind contributions and potential coordination. I mean, Jillian, this is campaign 101. You cannot coordinate because of the limits in federal elections with PACs versus campaigns. I'm staggered to think that someone thought that a candidate could be on the actual board of the PAC and her chief of staff as it's working on behalf of that campaign. And the thing that's really suspicious to me, guys, they took control of this PAC in December of 2017. They did not lose control of it until August of 2018. In between, AOC happens to win her primary. And again, in that district, if you win the primary, you basically won the general. Very suspicious timing.
Yeah, the primary was the whole thing. Once you got the nomination, you were good to go. What do you think the defense will be, Ned? In their minds right now, how are they going to concoct a defense to this? What are they going to say?
Well, I mean, if it's naivety and stupidity, I have a hard time believing the FEC is going to look at that and go, you know, we're not talking insignificant amounts of money, again, almost $1 million. But I think the thing that's interesting, again, to me, Rob, is this. We have AOC, who's just sanctimoniously moralizing to us about climate change, and then she has this massive carbon footprint, and then she's lectured us on dark money and politics, and it looks like she is potentially, and I think probably is, guilty of doing the exact same thing. She's just another sanctimonious hypocrite.
Okay, so let's talk about the Green New Deal, which we know would potentially eliminate air travel. And just listen to this soundbite of a reporter asking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez why she was flying.
Can you tell me why you were flying today?
Oh, yeah, because I needed to go to work.
All right, and then what is the difference between you taking a flight and a plane, though?
Excuse me, sir.
A couple hours of my constituents' time.
Presuming she was going from New York to D.C., there are trains that do that.
Well, I mean, listen, guys, if the world's going to end in 12 years, you have to maximize every hour, okay? Every hour counts. But for someone that wants to outlaw planes, she sure seems to like them a lot. I mean, I saw a statistic. I think she's 7 times more likely to use a plane than a train. I probably use trains more coming from D.C. to New York City. But again, this just goes back to these global change Puritans. They want to virtue signal. They want to be emotionally right. But, you know, what's a few million cubic tons of CO2 between friends as long as your heart's in the right place? Again, it goes back to the hypocrisy not only of AOC, but these others that are jet setting around the world, lecturing us on man-made global warming. And they are guilty of the exact same behavior that they are lecturing us on.
And what is the straight shot to D.C. on a train from New York? I've taken that train. It's 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
You go to the airport, you go through security, you got to get there an hour, hour and a half before the flight. It takes the same amount of time. I mean, it's unbelievable that she would give that kind of ammunition to the other side, because that is just the best ammunition you can get.
Now, Rob, I usually choose to take either the train or I drive because you're right. Going to the airport, parking, going through security, hopping on the plane, all that, it's just as much time, and it's a lot much more of a pain to actually do that when, you know, it's 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think, on the Acela, a little bit longer on the Nor'easter. But this is one of the things where it's just, again, you have to be kidding me. That's your best excuse. I'm trying to save a couple hours for constituents' time. It doesn't pass the smell test. Again, the other thing I'd point out, too, I think she used $30,000 on Uber and only $8,000 on subway tickets. When I come to New York, I choose to use the subway because it's more convenient and it gets me faster and saves me on traffic time.
It boggles the mind. In a city connected by trains, she takes cars.
And let's not forget, you can't take all of your liquids if you fly. So there's that. Ned, thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, guys.
We've got some interesting new information tonight about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. When she ran for office last year, she described herself as an enemy of big money in politics. Watch.
This really speaks to the corrupting force of money in politics in general. And this problem is not going to go away until we tighten the reins on the role of money in politics. I really hope that we really introduce and pass very strong legislation that's going to put much stronger limits on how special interests and how money can be moved, especially when they interface with campaigns.
Yeah. She doesn't like when money moves and interfaces with campaigns. Of course, Ocasio-Cortez is also a sworn enemy of carbon, but that didn't stop her from taking hundreds of Uber rides when the subway was just a few feet away. She may feel the same way about money, for you, but not for her. A new FEC complaint accuses Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff of diverting $1 million in donations into private accounts, apparently to obscure how that money was used. If true, the complaint could result in prison time. Ocasio-Cortez was confronted about this allegation today, and here's what she said.
There is no violation, so there's no violation.
Do you think that's a sign of you taking dark money?
Oh, no. I'm 100% people funded. Thank you.
She's people-funded, she wants you to know. Speaking of people-funded, Melissa Francis, who hosts Outnumbered, also one of our all-time favorite people on Fox Business, joins us tonight for an update on this story. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Tucker. So here's what this really boils down to in my mind. So it should be noted that the group that brought the complaint to the FEC is a right-leaning organization. We want to say that up front. But if you boil it down, basically what she and her chief of staff are accused of doing is moving almost $1 million from a PAC fund that they controlled over to an LLC, a limited liability corporation that they controlled. So were I her, I would ask this gentleman in the photo here, who is a multi-millionaire, tech and finance smart guy who's running her campaign, I would say, hey, why am I moving this money, these donations that were made to me from this PAC over to this other account that I control? I control them both. Why move it? What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Well, one difference could be, look at the rules that govern both. And the rules that govern a PAC are very clear and much more strict about how much you can spend, where it came from, what you have to disclose, how you list things. When it's an LLC, a limited liability corporation, the rules are very different, much lighter. And she marked a lot of stuff strategic consulting. And you can do that rather than itemizing things. Now, is this illegal? I don't know. Both sides are going to have their arguments in court about this, no doubt. And by the way, the rules that govern campaign finance are written by the very people in power who were trying to hold on to it. So talk about the fox guarding the henhouse. So the people who wrote these rules that she's saying, we're going to rewrite the rules, more people who have come to power and are trying to hang on to it. So is this legal under the rules? I don't know. We have people saying it's not. Both sides will argue, and we'll see. But what's interesting is you just have to ask yourself, why did you need to move it from one thing you control totally to another thing you control totally in order to make the expenditures? It sounds like that dark money that she's talking about, but we will see when they investigate.
Well, quickly, the fact that we don't know anything about it, the fact that it's not itemized, doesn't that, by definition, make it dark money, or at least opaque money?
It doesn't make it bright money. It doesn't make it transparent money. It makes it obscured money. At the very least, it is obscured. There is not a bright light shining on it. But Tucker, you made the point before. Think about what socialism is. Like, the very definition is a government take over the means of production. It's a power grab.
Yes.
That's what she's been all about, is a power grab. I'm in charge. I'm the boss. We go to Washington, we decide, we get the means of production, we get control, and we tell you all what you get. It all has the same theme if you boil it down to its most basic sense. So she doesn't want other people using planes, but she'll use a plane going back and forth between D.C. and New York because she's important. It means she's the ruling class. She's powerful.
Exactly.
She's important. So she gets to do these things. But for you and me, we're just, the serfs along the way. So we shouldn't, have a carbon footprint. We shouldn't do all these other things. And I
will
think
see you on the bus, Melissa Francis. They have Wi-Fi.
I
so
love
don't
the
complain.
bus. I love the subway, the Q train. It's right by my apartment. I'll see you there.
Melissa Francis, one of the best.
My pleasure.
Thank you.